ever understand how the justice system works. Imagine being raped multiple times by over 20 plus people, men and women included, molested by family members, different family members, over and over again, raped by people who were supposed to be close to the family, prostituted by your so-called boyfriend slash pimp named Cutthroat, and then abandoned as a young child by your mom who had you at a young age and wasn't ready to have a child on her own. Now imagine dealing with all of this all while being a child.
I didn't say anything about this that Miss Kathy says could help me, because I didn't want you to know how dumb I was and all the dumb stuff I did. Especially this. This is dumb for some girl to have sex with 36 people, okay? 11 of those people, it was not statutory rape. There were 3 people out of 36 people that were relatives. There are 4 people out of 36 people that I actually liked or lusted for. There are 9 people out of 36 people that it was protected sex. There's 5 people out of 36 people that were girls, and there was 4 people out of 36 people that were prostitution.
This is the life / story of Cyntoia Brown. It's one thing if, you know, Cyntoia just walked into a mall and then just randomly started killing people left and right just for the fucks of it, you know, just for the sake of killing people. No, this girl had been through so much in her short amount of time of living. She was literally a child, and then because she feared her own life, she killed a guy in defense of her own well-being, and now she's spending life in prison, I think somewhere in Tennessee, all for a crime that she committed as a child. I remember watching this documentary of the case of Cyntoia Brown many years ago, like back before it became like a trend, a hashtag to free Cyntoia Brown, for justice for Cyntoia Brown. I remember watching her and thinking how sad it was, because you could clearly, after you watch that documentary, there's no way, 1, you can't like her, and 2, you can't feel like life really just shitted on this girl her whole entire life. She had a mother who abandoned her because her mom gave her to a friend, basically because she knew that she couldn't raise her. So her mom battled with drugs and being in and out of jail her whole life. Her mom had her when she was 16, so it was basically a child having a child, and she just wasn't ready for the responsibility. And in the documentary also, I think her grandma was talking about how, like, her mom, Cyntoia's mom was a product of rape herself. So she has a family history of rape, of prostitution, of suicide attempts.
He came to my house. I was doing dishes and he came up behind me. And I really wasn't expecting that by no means, because I've never been around folks like that. And then he started slapping me. And he said, you're going to get what you deserve. And he grabbed me and snatched me and started beating me and dragged me to the bedroom. I got pregnant from that particular rape.
I think she had a list of how many times she had sex, and it was 36. And she actually like categorized it into different sections. So like the men, she broke it down, and I can't really like describe it, but she broke it down to different ways for her to remember and to like tell her story as well. So she broke it down into like the men raping her, women raping her, consensual sex, or statutory rape, or just flat out rape, or somebody coming into her room when she was sleeping and anally raping her, and just all these things she chronologized from as early as she could remember.
25, 26 memories. It's just a whole lot of memories.
Are they good memories or bad memories, or just memories in general?
Mostly bad. Oh, and this is my sex list. And you know what that means, don't you?
Sex list? People you had sex with?
Yeah. That person, while I was asleep, I woke up and he was fucking me in my ass. He tricked me into it. He was his best friend. And he got me. I just watched the pornos and seen when men came up to guys and started taking off the girls' clothes, the girl just lays there, does whatever, and screams and all that stuff. And that's what I figured was supposed to happen. So anytime somebody wanted to have sex with me, I just did it. I felt like obligated, like that was what I was supposed to do. You know what I mean? I had sex with 21 people out of the 36 where I felt that I just had to do it. It was what I was supposed to do. And 22 people out of the 36 people were hardly or not known. and 28 people are connected with the bad experience.
This girl has been through so much, and she was only 15. I think she was 15 when she killed the guy. She was either 15 or 16 when she killed the guy, but it was in self-defense. This guy picked her up, and instead of going to a hotel, because her pimp sent her out to go make him money. So she went somewhere where it's like frequented by a lot of prostitutes. So she went all the way to his house, which is like kidnapping. I would be scared. I would be fearful of my life as well, because at that point you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know this guy, you don't know his characteristics, you don't know his mental stability, like you don't know anything. So but she had to go along with it because she couldn't come back home empty-handed from her pimp. He was gonna beat the shit out of her, and he would send his girl out to go make him money, and if she didn't come home with anything, she would have to suffer for it. So she just went along with him. She went to his house. Nobody knew where she was. Not her pimp, not her mom, her biological or her adoptive mom. Nobody knew where she was. So she just went with him. He fed her, yeah, but he was showing her around his house, talking about how important he was, how much money he had, being all flashy and shit, and then showing her all his guns that he had. He had different rifles, different handguns, all these things that he was just showing her. And if I was her, if I was 15 years old, shit, I'm 24 now, and if somebody took me to their house and they were bragging about how important they were, real braggadocious about all the gun collections that they own and this and that, I would be fearful too. I don't fucking know you, and you got me in your house and I'm a child, so you're about to have sex with a minor. You're gonna pay me. The first, he like pulled up to her and was like, how much? And she was like 200, and he was like 100, and she was like 150. So they agreed on that. So first of all, you're already paying for sex. You're already a shady ass dude. 2, you know she's a minor, so you're already a fucking criminal, a fucking disgusting ass person. 3, now you want to bring her to your house in order to have sex with her and have your way with her, and like nobody knows where she is. Like she's literally at your mercy because nobody knows where she is. Nobody knows where you live. It's not like the pimp followed them back to his house. No. So she was he could have locked her in his fucking basement for all she knew, and she could have been his like sex slave for the rest of her life.
You got in the bed and at least one time went to sleep while he was there. You felt comfortable doing that.
I never went to sleep.
What happened next?
At first he was just stroking me, but then it's like he just grabbed me like in between my legs, like he just grabbed it real hard, and he just gave me this look. It was like a very fierce look, and it just sent these chills up my spine. I'm thinking he's gonna hit me or do something like that, but then he rolls over and reaches, like he's reaching to the side of the bed or something, so I'm thinking, no, he's not finna hit me, he's finna get a gun.
And what did you do at that time?
I just grabbed the gun and I shot him.
So they were in bed, and he was like bragging about his gun or whatever, and I don't know, one thing led to another. She said he was reaching like to the side of him, reaching for something, and she got fearful. Like her paranoia set in because she's been through so much in her life, which is understandable. She's been through so much in her short 15, 16 years of living that of course she's going to be paranoid. Of course she's gonna be a little bit, have like a little bit of a psychotic break and think, okay, like everybody is out to get me, everybody is gonna hurt me, everybody's gonna do this and do that. So of course, like she's seeing him reach over and she automatically thinks that he's reaching for a gun. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna get you before you get me. You're reaching for your gun, let me get mine. And then she shoots him and then she kills him. It's one thing if like she shot him multiple times and like shot him fucking 16 times behind his back, like how these officers do. It's another thing for her to be fearful of her life and shoot him once, and then he ends up, once or twice, and he ends up dead. She describes like the moment of like hearing his blood gush out and how it sounded like water, and they try to say that it was premeditated. They said that she had this plan all along to kill him because she took his gun, she took money. I'm not sure what she took, but she took items from his house. So they're trying to say, okay, it was premeditated. She planned on doing this all along, but how was she supposed to know that he had guns in his house? He wasn't a mark. She wasn't watching him for days, for years, for months, building info on him and then hit this mark. No, it just, everything happened randomly. So how can you charge her for conspiracy to murder and this and that as well? First degree murder, all that. Like, it all happened so quick. And she was a child. Like, I understand intent is very important. So you know clearly she didn't intend on killing this guy. It just happened. Don't get me wrong, I'm not co-signing murder. Murder is wrong. But I think everything is all situational, and they should have looked at her background. They had so many people come in and speak and testify towards her. Even the counselor, a counselor who was part of the documentary, was like following her and like talking to her. He could say that she had like a personality disorder. Of course, like when you feel like you've been abandoned your whole life and nobody gives a fuck about you, you just feel like your life is literally nothing. That's what she said. She said when she was at his house and he was talking about how important he was, she just thought like, well, who the fuck am I? Like, I'm nobody. I'm not important to anybody. Nobody knows where I am right now. Like, I don't mean anything to anybody. And that was the saddest shit ever when she said that. There are a lot of crazy people out there. You never know who's crazy or not. There is no sign for crazy. There is no sign for when somebody's gonna snap. That's why there's that show called Snap, because people literally just snap and have a psychosis or psychotic breakdown at any given point. Like, it's nothing planned, it just happens. So people really just snap and they have like a brief moment of insanity, and you never know what's gonna happen. So I don't blame her for being scared and being paranoid. I would be paranoid too. She didn't make the best decisions in life, and trouble always followed her, but who does? I'm 24 and I make bad decisions too. The only difference is, like, I know the consequences of my actions. Even when I make stupid ass decisions, make mistakes, like, I know what my consequence is going to be. I do a lot of dumb shit and I know what the outcome is going to be, so I can't be surprised, I can't cry, I can't be mad if shit turns out exactly how I thought it was going to turn out. She never once tried to lie and say that she didn't do it. I believe she turned herself in and she confessed without a lawyer and all that. Like, I feel like the justice system really just failed her in general, or everybody around her really just failed her. You can't really take her background and then not factor it in with your decision. How can you send this poor girl to jail for life based off a decision she made at 15 in distress? It just really doesn't make any sense to me. And I hear Kim Kardashian is trying to hire lawyers, like good lawyers, for her to help, you know, get her out of there. And I really pray that everything goes as planned, it works out for her in the end. Because I just remember when I watched this documentary years ago, I was just like, that's really sad. There's obviously nothing I could do about it. I just watch a lot of these types of documentaries, and I just think that shit is sad. Like, it's sad that a lot of people go through a lot of stuff in their lifetime. A lot of people, just from a young age, from their upbringing, from family really plays like a huge factor in how you turn out. And here I am, I feel like I take my family for granted. Like, I take my upbringing for granted. I've been given so much. I come from a 2-family household, and yet I still be making stupid ass decisions as if I was abandoned in my life, or as if I don't know any better, which doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I'm really fucking ungrateful when I think about it, because people come from such a background like that, getting raped left and right, and just being used, your body used and abused, and people just making you feel like you are nothing. Like, literally, you're nothing in life, and you believe it. So you just do anything in order to, one, please people, and two, just like maintain and survive. Like, she was always in survival mode, as you can imagine, you know. So she's been through a lot. Her family just has like a lot of mental issues, and I can't blame her for, I mean, I'm not gonna say I can't blame her for, you know, what happened, but I understand how everything led up to where it led to. So instead of like giving this girl the help that she needs, you just lock her under the jail. Like, how does that rehabilitate her? How does that really help people? What is it with our justice system where instead of trying to help people out and giving them the help that they need, counseling, therapists, all that, we're so easy to just throw them away? How can you just throw away a human's life, a little girl's life, a child's life? How? With no remorse. How can you hear her story, hear her whole background, and then just sit there and still be like, guilty, she's going to jail for life? Like, how? When there's like rapists out here who will literally just get a slap on the wrist and just get sent home. It really makes no sense to me. And like, I don't even want to play the race card, but I think that has a lot to do with it. When you're a black young girl, or when you're just black in general, they look the other way. They turn the other cheek to us, to our problems. They really just don't care. Like, when you have color, when you have melanin in your skin, your life doesn't matter as much as your white counterpart. It really doesn't. There's so many Caucasians that I've seen go to like commit really heinous crimes, and they just literally get slapped on the wrist every single time. Because now it's like a lot of media coverage about it. I really pray that we put pressure on them to release this girl and get her the actual help that she needs and help her rebuild her life. She's a very smart girl. Like, just hearing her talk, her vocabulary, her demeanor, I don't know if she reads a lot, but she sounds like she sounds very educated. She sounds like somebody who actually knows what they're talking about, you know? Like, she's very clear and concise. So there's no way that you can just like throw her to the side and then think she's just gonna sit back and like let you just treat her like shit. No, she's fighting her case, and I really hope everything works out in the end. It's really sad to think that there's a lot of other Cyntoia Browns out there. Somewhere right now, as we speak, as I'm recording this, as I'm speaking to you guys, there's another child that's being raped. There's another child that's being molested. There's another child that's being trafficked. You know, like, these type of things happen all the time, and it's so disgusting. How do you as a grown-ass man find a child attractive? How do you pay for sex from a minor, or from anybody in general, but especially from a minor? You don't have kids? Like, I don't understand. Like, and then how you send somebody to jail who's been through so much in their life, who clearly like is crying out for help and needs help. How do you send them to jail for that when you know it was in distress? You know she didn't do it on purpose. You know she didn't go in there with the intent to kill this guy. Like, come on, you know that. How did she know she was going to? She's not a fucking mind reader. She didn't know. It's not fucking That's So Ravish. How was she supposed to see into the future and know that this guy was going to take her to, this random guy was going to take her to his house, and then she was going to have to kill him? How would she know all that? Like, come on, dog. Like, give this girl justice. Like, that's crazy. The saddest part about it is Cutthroat, you know, her pimp, is probably out there right now living his life like it's golden, enjoying being free, and just whoring out other girls and pimping out other girls, and they're ending up in the same situation Cyntoia is in. Just, they don't have coverage for it. They don't have, it's not a news coverage like Cyntoia's story is, but Cutthroat's out there eating and living off these girls and forcing them into prostitution, trafficking them for money or drugs or whatever else he can get. Like, that's the saddest part about this shit. Like, but Cyntoia has to spend the rest of her life in jail. This justice system, this world is just, it gets me every fucking time. This world is so crazy. It's just so unfair.
I cut my hair.
Why'd you do that?
Because I don't want to be pretty no more.
Why not?
Because it don't do nothing but cause you trouble.